I just released a video about making resin tools, and I asked in that video if you wanted me to do a follow-up with some other ideas that I had, and I got a lot of responses. So let's do a follow-up. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and made a couple more of these molds for our drill bit. This was the mold that I used for the nails. And then, so I went ahead and made a new mold for smaller screws, and I'm thinking this will give us hopefully a better chance of having success. Let's start by mixing up some resin. So this resin will give us about 30 minutes of open time before it starts to set up. I'm using a really large mixing container. It doesn't heat up as quickly. The smaller the container, the faster the resin starts to cure. Since we're going to be basically doing 3 additives, I want to give us as much time as I can. Alright, so the first idea I have is what's called cold casting. What we're going to do is we're going to take powdered metal and we're going to mix it with the resin. So this is iron oxide. What we're looking at here is literally just iron powder. We're going to mix up powdered iron with resin. Put a couple large amounts of this in here. We want a pretty good ratio of iron oxide to resin. And what we get here is metal that's actually incorporated into the resin. And when it's cured, it should have many of the properties of iron. And I know a lot of you in the comments actually guessed that this is one of the things we were going to be doing. You remember how hard it was for us to get the resin into the mold, and now we've just basically doubled its thickness. So what I got were these syringes, and my hope is that I'll be able to pour the resin into the syringe. It's really thick. Oh, this might actually work. You know what? Oh, it's a horrible sound. Too much, too thick. Slow it down. Oh my gosh. We're totally getting flagged. Yeah, all right. Let's just, you know what, let's just put that in the pressure pot. Let's move on to option number 2, which is our new friend, fiberglass. Great, now we've got heavy breathing. All right, it looks like it's filling up. You can definitely see the fiberglass down there. I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the pot as well. Wow, we are making a mess. I'm going through gloves at an alarming rate. Oh, I forgot to do the screw. All right, we're not going to do a fiberglass screw, so I'm going to do a second iron one. So the last idea I had was actually adding iron filings. If you watch the magnet video that we did last year, you'll know that these don't actually incorporate into the resin. They just fall to the bottom of it. And I've got my wooden skewer here, and we're just going to play plunger. And we don't need the whole thing saturated with iron. We just want to at least get it down to the tip. Alright, and the last one goes into the pressure pot. I'm going to try to suck up some of these iron shavings in epoxy. Yeah, that's not a lot of shavings in there. There's resin all over my camera now. Alright, I'm going to try to put some of these iron shavings in the nail molds. I don't know. Things aren't going exactly to plan, but you know, as long as I get this stuff in the pot within the next couple minutes, okay, that's fine. Everything's mostly in there. Chaos, molds, epoxy, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you hear that? Pressure pot pushed the resin down inside of it. When the pressure from the pressure pot, it actually pushed the resin down into the gaps that we didn't fill. And so even though we filled it up to the top, it went down, I don't know, a little ways, half an inch there maybe. So see if I can free these from their molds. So there's the iron oxide, one mixed with powder. Of the three of them, the fiberglass is the one that I'm probably the least confident in. I think that it was just really hard to get the fibers down there. I'm going to have to cut this open a little bit to get to the bit. I'm not even to the resin yet. We'll just completely open this one to at least see what we've got. I have this funny feeling this isn't going to work. Wasn't really sure how to get all those long fibers down in there anyway. So if any of them aren't going to work well, this was the one I was pretty sure was going to have trouble. Oh yeah, look. Now we can see what happened. I don't really know what I'm doing with fiberglass, and I think at this point everyone is just nodding, agreeing with me. Maybe I'm supposed to chop it up into tiny pieces and incorporate it into the resin. Is that what I'm supposed to do? And then try to force the whole thing down there? Here's the one with the iron filings. So here's the one with the iron filings, and you can see the tip broke off. That's not what I'd hoped for. I went ahead and cast a second one, and you can see on this one there was so much weight and pressure that it actually deformed the tip here. And I put a light coat of resin on the outside of it yesterday to give it a little extra strength. I'm thinking if you've been watching videos with me long enough, you'll know that that fiberglass cast, I wasn't going to leave that alone. I went ahead and chopped up a bunch of small pieces of fiberglass and tried recasting it. I cast it in the one where the iron shavings tip got broken off, so I've got sort of a hybrid here. And then last, and probably actually least, are these nails, which you can see how very little material actually got down to the tip there on the nails. The screws, same kind of thing, it's just... And the same thing with the screws, you know, it's hard to get an entire screw out of there. I did get a couple partial screws, two of these with the iron powder and one with just a tiny amount of iron filings. But they are a different shape than the last ones, so we'll give them a shot and see if we have any luck with them. Oh, and so then I then tried to cast some of the iron oxide in, and none of them came out with the heads intact. They're basically hollow in the middle. It went down around the edges of the mold, but it didn't fill in the center. So I've got these little hollow shafts, which aren't really useful nails. It's not iron, it's a composite material of iron and resin. So it's not the same as filing a steel tool. I'm trying to fix these angles here. In order to get this tip ground down, I kind of had to mess with them. So now I'm going to try to fix them. I use this mostly to sharpen my chisels, and it works great for that. I was thinking it might work really well to sharpen the tip of this broken one that we have. So here is a standard twist bit. We're just going to look for a bevel that kind of sweeps down like that, and I'm going to see if I can't accomplish that on this material. Now we're at 400 grit. It's taking an edge, but it's super crumbly, which I think is just the nature of the material. It's shavings in resin. But we'll take it to the last grit anyway. I mean, we've done this much. We should finish it. Not bad. It's definitely getting polished, but you can see how it's not really holding an edge here because it's so crumbly. Again, I think that's just what it is. These are the 3 contenders, and we know how good the original one did, so yeah. Any improvement will be an improvement.
That was intelligent.
If you look at the clear one in the center, it's actually got iron shavings in it.
I saw that.
Just barely, so. But they're a different shape than the last ones we did. And then the nail, sadly the weakest point is where the head meets the shaft, and that's got nothing in it. So.
Right, because it settles.
Right, so I'm 99% sure that's gonna just be like the rest of them. In the last video I said pine was the softest thing I had in my shop, but I found a piece of redwood, which is a little softer. So we're gonna try that.
Oh, ow!
This one with all the shavings down at the tip.
That was kind of cool.
Instant washer. All right, so nothing unexpected there. So as for the screws, one of the things I got a lot of comments on is that you wanted me to drill a pilot hole. Honestly, it feels like cheating, but you asked for it, so we're gonna do it. Let me put a little pilot hole. And I think they're just crumbling.
Oh.
But it didn't really work.
Okay, wait.
So the iron oxide is definitely not holding up. It technically has some iron shavings in it. Oh!
That one's working. I like that.
All right, resin screws.
It's mostly the head.
It is mostly the head. I think we did this in the last video. 73 grams. So this is the iron oxide one.
That's a lot of difference.
It is, isn't it? So it is magnetic. Because of the way it's cold cast, it will rust. I think it might be... No. It's not, is it?
No. Because that should be wood shavings. I know, I thought it was at first too.
Yeah.
Did it make a hole?
A divot.
It didn't.
Yeah, it made a dent. It's better than...
The other ones.
It's better than the epoxy one did. Cool, all right. Well, that's the best so far. Let's have a look at the fiberglass one.
I would have thought it was less.
You know what? Me too. I'm a little surprised by that. The fact that I've got a fiberglass one at all makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got this little iron tip. It's actually kind of sharp. Another staggering result.
I thought again for half a second.
Yeah, I think it made another divot. Yeah, we made another divot. Mm-hmm. But and you could see the fiberglass. Oh wow, you can totally see the fiberglass particles coming out there. So it definitely got in there.
Don't blow it.
No, seriously. But you can see the little fibers. And then our 2 iron filing ones, which I think these should be pretty heavy. And here's the one that we shaped like a twist bit.
Oh! That's wood. It was working.
Well, that was exciting. Yeah, I guess, I mean, that makes sense. That's definitely a deeper hole.
It is.
Yeah, it's a deeper hole than these other two. All right, so let's do the very last one. It was definitely a suggestion from the comments that I needed to reshape one of them into a twist style bit instead of the brad point.
Is it working?
It was going down, but then I really felt like that one was working for a minute.
Me too.
Yeah, it's definitely getting shorter. Yeah, look at that.
Nice.
Actually made a tiny little hole.
You'd run through drill bits, but
Yeah, but man, we went down 1/8 of an inch. So there we go. The debris and leftover bits from 2 videos of trying to make resin tools. What did we learn?
nothing.
Catch you guys next time.